Hi, and welcome to my channel, Hisame Artwork. In this video, I'm going to go over the 5 silly things that people say to artists. This is the second part, and I've taken quotes from my peers, so friends of mine that are artists. In the previous video, I've talked about what silly things I've heard and have annoyed me. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about the community pet peeves. So this round of things that have happened to my fellow artists. These are things that either have happened very rarely to me or it's not an issue that I deal with. Just because there are different types of art that you can make, so what happens to my friends might not happen to me, and also there might be things that I personally don't take offense or I don't find irritating, but a lot of my friends do. So these are, is that really yours? You definitely stole something. Your character looks like some other character. Can't you do that real quick? And what, you want money? So yeah, let's get into it. The first one, is that really yours? So the thing is that aside from going to film university, I also went to marketing university, and I do have a master's in international marketing, and I've worked a lot in the advertising industry doing art for various clients from different industries. So I've kind of learned to be brand consistent. So I have the same name on all platforms. My email has the same name. I sign everything. I use the same avatar everywhere. I've had the same avatar for, I think I'm going on 10 years. So this logo here, this is what I use as my avatar. So yeah, and also I Google all the time everything I do to make sure as much as I can that there are no intellectual property infringements, that there are no copyright issues. All the time I'm just very aware of this because, like I said, I've been to 2 universities, I've worked in the industry. We've had courses on copyright at both universities uh, that was actually about law and things like that. So not exactly something that other artists have access to if they're self-taught, or maybe your university doesn't even bother with courses like that. Some of them were elective, like I had to apply to go to the copyright extra class, so things like that. That might not be available for you, or you didn't consider looking into it too much. So whenever you constantly get questions like, is that really yours? First of all, if you're not the author of the post, check the artist name, check the artist gallery, use Google image search. Because it might be just that the artist doesn't know any better and has like a bajillion names and they change their name all the time, or whatever issues there are. Check what they've signed. So generally, if let's say the account is named Bob's Art, and one picture is signed by Sarah and another one is signed by Tom, there's a good chance that Bob, if that is his real name, has taken the art from Sarah and Tom and is posting it as his own. So if you think that is the case, maybe report it to the admin or things like that, or then ask if that is really yours. Maybe they have multiple pen names or something like that. But first, like I said, always check. And if you are an artist, to avoid always getting this question, is that really yours? Always use the same ID, use the same avatar, and absolutely watermark everything. And then you'll get this question less often. So, of course, there's always that one person that is going to be an extra special butterfly. So here's an example. My name is in the account. I have the logo. I'm signed here on this collaboration art event. So I did the colors. The line art is by... She doesn't have a very good name for the logo. That's not a great logo design. Nobody's gonna know that it's May Ray unless you write May Ray. So that's why I kept Hisame Artwork, so that if anybody ever needs to find me, they can. just by the stolen image. Another here, I have the hashtag Hisame artwork. I have a link to another website where it's, again, I am named Hisame artwork. I write that the colors are by me. And then, of course, I still get someone, did you do this? Now, they've expressed the question in a much more polite way than other people have. Like, he added, it's so good. I mean, a lot of artists are gonna get annoyed if you ask, did you do this? If they actually did it. But I think you can soften the blow by saying it's so good, but still you're gonna annoy them, especially if three other people have asked the same thing on that post in the comment section. So please check before asking this question to make sure. Like, if you still have doubts, then I guess you can. Like, I know a lot of people want to protect and help artists and get rid of spammers and thieves, so I definitely understand the sentiment where this is coming from. I think that's nice of you to try and do it and support us. If you can't support us financially, you know, at least give likes and comments and shares and try and stop people that steal. Like, that's definitely a good thing to do for artists as well, and we thank you for it. But, you know, please try and check before doing it. And I think Vitella has given like a lovely, funny answer to it. I think my favorite is when you're at shows or conventions selling your art and they ask this, is this yours? Did you do this? That's the question. And he's like, nope, I just decided to sell random works of art. I've never been to any shows yet. I do plan to go. I wasn't able to because I was in a foreign country and the distances were too great, and then now is the pandemic, so. But hopefully in the future I'll go and see if I'll get questions like this. Did you do this? While I'm at the convention with my name everywhere and the banner and everything. So that'll be something fun to find out. But again, please do check, and artists, try and make it easy for people to see if you're the author or not, you know. Use the same name, have the same avatar, watermark everything. We will avoid a lot more misunderstandings. So this is another issue that comes up, misunderstandings, and people accusing you as an artist that you stole something. And sometimes I even see fellow artists do this to other artists and kind of attack each other. So first of all, again, please try and read everything before you jump to conclusions and ruin somebody's day by accusing them of something pretty severe. So this is not an issue that I've ever had to deal with simply because I don't draw realistic. I've explained in my previous video why I don't think that was a good path for me. I've walked on it a bit, but I prefer to do cartoony, more fantastical stuff. So generally all of my images are pretty easy to tell that it is an original artwork. So here are two artist friends that do realistic animal illustrations, and this was a art challenge where they were supposed to draw from a photo to hyper-realistic levels. Like if you're not paying attention, you cannot tell the difference between the original photo and the illustration. So what happened was, and fortunately my friend June and also Valer Artist have posted the process on YouTube, so they have evidence that they drew this themselves. And if you're doing situations like these, generally I wouldn't recommend doing these types of drawing challenges because it can land you in hot water. And if you're on a platform that only has bots and you're never going to talk to a real person, you will probably be in a lot of trouble because you cannot argue your case, bring up any evidence. The bots are not interested. and what you have to say as a human being. They're very discriminatory, those bots. Um, so, um, if you are going to have to deal with humans, I mean, at least you have the video, so that's a good thing to have as a backup. Like, you can say, hey, I actually drew this. Um, you can still get into like copyright issues, even if you're reproducing, because depending on the copyright in your country, that may or not be allowed. If it's a drawing challenge and you're not making money out of it, it falls under the category of fan art, or I guess parody or something, depending on the legislation in your country, so you probably won't have any troubles. Um, the original artist that made this image is a photographer. He never pressed any claims against my two artist friends. These were other artists on the platform attacking my artist friends for theft. And they used Google image search to prove that they stole the photo from, well, they didn't prove, to show that they stole the photo from McFadden, but actually Google search got fooled. They did such a great job in drawing that bird that Google Images, the feature, actually the app or whatever it is, thought that that was the same photo. And I will link the videos in the description below so you can see how they drew it themselves. So my recommendation is, if you're a hyper-realistic artist or you can draw very realistic, always be careful of the copyright issues. I know you need to upgrade your skills and hone your craft, and it's very useful to be able to draw realistic. If you know Lord of the Rings, all of those all of that concept art was made by artists that can draw realistic, if you see the behind the scenes videos. So these skills need to be developed. The way you can, in Europe anyway, is you draw things from real life, from photography, from other artists. You draw what they drew, like you have to redo the illustrations from Michelangelo or from Leonardo da Vinci or from recent artists. You do this in university. You copy, you copy, you copy until you understand how they did it. And you exercise and you repeat and you draw the same things over and over again. So the way things are done in Europe might not be the way things are done in your country. And of course there are differences in Europe as well, but overall in the EU we have to abide by the same legislation and the same rules for universities. So be careful if you're on a platform that has different legislation than yours. If you're dealing with people from a different culture than you, you might get into misunderstandings and issues, and I just want you to be aware of it. So you can avoid, or at least be more understanding of what you're getting into. So if you get something like accusations of theft, you have a better understanding of what's going on and how to deal with them and how to plead your case and things like that. It's a good thing to read up on this stuff. Now, another thing that a lot of my artist friends hear is your character looks like a pre-existing intellectual property. Personally, I don't take offense if somebody says, oh, your character looks like a Naruto character or something like that. That never happened to me, but I would not be offended, because for me personally, that's a bad thing, and I'm happy that somebody brought it to my attention, even if I didn't mean to do anything bad. It wasn't on purpose. The thing is, the situation is still existing. It's going to be potentially a problem, a lawsuit, or something like that. So, for example, for my characters, I always Googled the name before I do a Google image search after I drew them, to make sure I didn't accidentally do something that already exists and I can get into trouble, especially if I'm doing something for a client. I don't want them to get into trouble, because then the lawsuit can extend to me. And like that can be a problem. So, for example, my character Ernest the Blue Bunny initially was just Blue Bunny. And I googled Blue Bunny, and apparently at that time there was only an ice cream brand that was named Blue Bunny, and some other things that were definitely not in the same industry. Of course, the copyright and the names and the trademarks are limited to an industry. Like, for example, you can have an excavator that is named Bob the Builder, and you can have a baking tray trademarked Bob the Builder. So there's, in my country anyway, last time I checked, you can trademark a name even if it already exists, as long as it's in a different industry. So then I changed Blue Bunny to Ernest the Blue Bunny so that I wouldn't have issues with copyright, because it's such a long name. The chances of somebody else inventing Ernest the Blue Bunny that looks like my Ernest the Blue Bunny to be smaller. Because it depends who trademarked first which in which country. So, for example, if I trademark in the European Ernest the Blue Bunny and somebody else 10 years later does it in Indonesia, if I want to sell my toy, even if I created the character first, I will not be able to sell Ernest the Blue Bunny in Indonesia if Ernest the Blue Bunny already exists in Indonesia. Like, there can be copyright issues like that, and you've seen it with Disney products and merchandise where in different countries they either had to change the name because it was a bad word in that language. You can accidentally name something and in that language it's something offensive, or the character already existed and you're having like to clash with copyright issues. So yeah, personally, when somebody tells me your character looks like another character, I don't find it offensive. I find it very concerning, and generally I'm gonna thank that person for bringing the issue up to me before it becomes a real problem. But friends of mine have explained it to me that they find it very disconcerting when they hear this, because the person that made the comment doesn't see their art. They only see something else that looks similar, and they're ignoring what is in front of them, and they find it sad to hear that their character looks like another one. They also find it sad when they hear like something else, it looks like something else they saw, and they love it because it reminds them of that other thing, not because of what they're seeing at that point. And especially annoying when they hear it reminds them of something they dislike, and they really don't like the art. So I kind of ignore people that say that. Generally, I don't have a lot of people that say they dislike my art simply because I draw cutesy, colorful things and most people like it. Of course, you'll always get the one odd person, and I think it's weird. I think it's just venom. People are upset or sad about something else and they need to rant at you because you don't have anybody else to complain at. It's just an internet thing mostly. Because you can get in contact with way more people than you would at an art gallery. Also, it's not public, the other person's identity, so it's, the classic keyboard warrior hides behind the keyboard sort of thing. If you're that kind of person, I would recommend to try and refrain from posting negative comments to artists. Is not gonna help you in any way. Like, you're not gonna become friends with that artist if you leave them mean comments. So I don't really have much advice to give on that to people that want to say mean things, aside that you're wasting your time. Personally, I don't mind it. A comment's a comment, and the more comments I get, the better my algorithm is gonna be for me. So I'm guess I'm less concerned about trolls than some of my friends, but I do feel for them, and I am sad and sorry that their day is ruined by some troll. Okay, so another thing a lot of my friends get sometimes is, can you do that real quick? Uh, Personally, I don't think I've ever gotten this comment online. I've gotten it in person. And I've started out as a traditional artist. I've been drawing since since I was 2 years old, and now I'm 30. So I'm actually faster with pen and paper than I am digital. Also because I'm very nitpicky. So when you are digital, you have more freedom to edit. That's a good thing. That's a bad thing, depending on your personality. So um, I can draw quick, but again, quality is heavily correlated to time when it comes to drawing. So here I have an example for you guys how much time it takes me to do any of these illustrations, all digital. And I have like 4 hours for a full color line art, shading, inking, and 2.5 hours for the line art, 10 minutes for the sketch, I guess, and 10 seconds for a doodle. And that's pretty much it, how it goes for me. I love drawing digital. I prefer to draw digital because you're always like one tea mug spill away from ruining a day's work, so it really stresses me out to do it traditionally, and I never do anything professional for a client traditional. I do a lot of hobby art for friends and family traditional, but I never do traditional for clients simply because there's always this immense fear for me that I'm gonna ruin it and miss a deadline and uh, not get paid, I guess. Never happened, but the fear is there. Also, I always back up everything I do, all of my projects, and I have backups of backups, so uh, I can always deliver on time the request of my clients. So, but like I said, a lot of my friends, especially the ones that do like really complex illustrations, um, will get this, oh, can you do that real quick? And it's very annoying for them, especially if they hear it often. Um, if somebody asks me, you do that real quick? My answer is no. No, I do not do rush projects. Even for digital art, I refuse to do rush projects because the quality goes down and this stresses me out. And I'm sure there are plenty of artists that can do this in like an hour or two or 24 hours or whatever the stressful deadline is. Also, I do not take into stressful challenges that are like the 10-minute challenge where you're supposed to draw something okay in 10 minutes. I know the challenge is to illustrate how the quality of the art goes down with speed, but I cannot do something that looks okay even 10 minutes. Some artists can, it's not me. I am very slow. So yeah, that's how it is on this topic. Another question that a lot of my friends get is people asking them for free art. Now, I'm not a very sociable person. I don't have a big following. I think total of people that follow me on every platform added together is 10,000 at most. Um, so I generally don't get a lot of requests for this. But my friends do, and it's very annoying all the time for them. So they want free art. Come on, give me free art. And then the person gets upset when they don't get free art and they insult them. I'll give you exposure is a very common one. I am poor, give me free art. I don't agree to paying you real money for it. And oh, I can be your first client. And my answers to these things would be no, no, definitely not. I don't need your exposure. I need money. Uh, where people that ask for free art because they're poor. I mean, I generally don't believe these people. I think they're scammers. And my response to that is, did you participate in any of my giveaways? I give free art then. Whenever I reach an art milestone, whenever I reach a social media milestone, I give away free art. Here on YouTube, I'm close to getting to 1,000 subscribers. So when I reach that, I will do a art giveaway. So if you want that milestone to get here faster, please subscribe to my channel. And also, if you could give me a like, leave a comment, help me with the stats and ratings and all of that. And when people say, oh, I don't remember agreeing to pay you real money for it, preferably have this in writing in an email, and then you can say, yes, you did see the email, you promised me money. So, and another thing, I'll be your first client. Now for me, that ship has sailed long ago, and if it's free, you're not actually a client. So just wanted to say that out loud for the people that don't want to be rude and don't want to say these things. I'm like, I can understand you don't want to feed the trolls and don't want to respond to these people. Just block them or something like that. They're scammers, spammers, and whatnot. Okay, so the underlying idea to this give me free art is that I am a human. I need food and shelter, so I need real money. Pay me for my time and work. What can get a bit complicated and stressful is when this question or request comes from a friend or blood relative or just somebody in your circle. I have had some pretty silly or really stressful experiences with people from my circle. If you want to hear those horror stories, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see if I do a video about it. Maybe you guys can learn something from my problems. How things are in my culture may differ from yours, but where I am in the Balkans, when somebody that is a friend or relative or something like that asks you for something, generally, if you're on good terms with them, you have to generally accept to do it for free, and they will give you a gift as a thank you that is above the value financially that of the service that you would have given. So let me give you an example to kind of hopefully explain this better. Let's say your oven is broken and you have some guy in your family that knows how to fix ovens, and you'll ask them, hey, please, can you fix my oven? And that person comes, fixes your oven. Let's say it would cost $50 to the services and time of that person to, if you hired somebody, it would be $50, not counting the parts and equipment and things like that. Just the work and time they put in will cost you $50 to fix your oven. You then have to give that person a gift that is above $50, generally an alcohol. Because that's how it works for us. Alcohol is like a very common gift to give, especially for men. So if your male relative comes and fixes your oven, you're supposed to like give them something as a gift above the value they would have normally been. So I mean, often you're better off hiring somebody, but it's like a trust issue if the services are good. If you trust your male relative, you're generally gonna go with them, and also it's not money, you're giving a gift, and a lot of people have farms and do their own alcohol at home, so that's why it's such a common gift, and it's sort of a barter system that does not involve money, and it's within the family or the friends or the circle like that. So I lived in the US for 5 years, and I've done some art for friends there that were from Latin America, and I've also done for Americans that are of British descent. And what I found really interesting was that the Americans didn't give me any gift back. I mean, I had agreed to do it for free, to their credit. It's not like they scammed me. But Latin Americans gave me a gift card with money to buy at, I think it was Walmart or Amazon or something like that. So I found it very interesting that my country was a Roman colony 2,000 years ago, and Latin American countries were a colony like a few centuries ago. But even though we're like oceans apart and really distant in time with how the culture has dispersed from the Roman Empire to Spain to Latin America, and we still have this underlining cultural foundation where I thought it was really interesting that they kind of abided by the same social rules that my culture does. So I found it very interesting that I got a gift card from the Latinos, but not the Americans. So if you're doing this gifting or doing anything for free cross culturally, just kind of be aware of what can happen and what the perception is. And I mean, I personally found it a bit rude, but um, I understand that it's a different culture than mine. So if I said I'm doing something for free, they don't expect anything to, like, I shouldn't expect to get a gift, is what I'm saying. So I don't think they intended to be rude. It's just that it's a different culture from mine. So the expectations are different. And that's what I wanted to kind of explain to you guys to, be aware and make sure there are not any disagreements between you two. Always kind of talk to each other and try and be kind of understanding or be aware at least of the cultural differences. So yeah, that was kind of it. Thank you for watching. Hope you found this useful. Hope you found it interesting. And as always, if you have any other questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. And I will try and answer them as best as I can. And of course, the next video is going to be issues that are from the larger community that maybe me and my friends don't have to deal with, simply because most of my friends are from Latin speaking countries. Yeah, cultures are different, and legislation is different, and yeah, hopefully we'll clear up some issues that are, and kind of have a better understanding of what it is to be an artist and how to avoid being rude, how to get better at making friends that are artists, and kind of collaborating and moving things forward. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.